getting real. We're getting real. Like, we're getting real. We're getting real. The days are counting down. The days are counting down. Don't ask me how many days because I'm doing many things, but the days are counting. I think maybe like 3 days to go. Who cares? It's getting real. Spain, or as I like to say, España. People say España. Buenos dias, chicos. Buenos dias, chicas. Chicos. Spain. Some people are saying a few things about Spain. People are saying a few things about Spain, and some people are saying things that it's an open World Cup. It's an open WC, probably one of the most open WCs we've had in a while. One of the most open WCs we've had. So we're saying if it's one of the most open WCs, if a certain team got to the semis of the Euros, only lost through penalties in a game that they dominated and they didn't win because they didn't have a finisher, why can't ... It gets real. Running clocks back to 98. And probably this is the only time we'll mention Nigeria in any good light. I think this was the first of Spain's really solid teams, because this was the first time that we saw one of. Now I'm pretty sure he wasn't in '94, so I'm pretty sure I'm right here. No, I have to be right here because he wasn't in '94. This is the first time that you saw one of Spain's greatest ever players and one of the best strikers of his generation, Raul. We'll get 4 years later was when things got real, but others people thought, okay, no, with this amazing striking talent, playing for Real Madrid, one of the and one of the best strikers, and I believe if this is '98, Real Madrid had won the UCL. I believe Real Madrid won the UCL in '98. So people thought, Spain could do something. Huge shock with Nigeria beating them 3-2. They larynxed Bulgaria, but then I believe they drew with Paraguay. I think they drew with Paraguay, but in the end, Nigeria and Paraguay went through, and they ended up failing to go through. I believe they came third, so they didn't even make it to the group. So this was disappointing, and we have to realize is that up until this point, Spain, the furthest Spain had reached was a quarterfinal. So 4 years prior, this is how Nigeria links to 4 years prior, Nigeria cruelly lost to Italy in the second round. Quarterfinal, Spain beat them. So the furthest that Spain had reached ever before this point was the quarterfinal. So people thought 98, we feel we have a more talented team, a better team. Hero was up in this piece as well, but because we didn't have Raul in '94, we now have Raul now, and he's really like the real big striking talent. We can definitely say what's up. Someone do a fact check with that for me, but I'm pretty sure that Raul was not in '94, and if it was in '94, he would have been a freaking test experiment. So we move 4 years on, 2002. Now this was the team. Can you recognize the guy top row furthest to the left? And top row 1, 2, 3, 4 down from your right. Because it's a bit blurry, but we'll go into it. But can you recognize those two? Top row furthest to the left. Top row, third person from your left. If you're eagle, if you can recognize them now before I go to the next slide, you've got very good eyes. But do they look familiar? So this was a very good Spain team, a very talented team, and I think many people thought, okay, we didn't do too well in '98. We have an even better team now. We're going to say what's up. We're definitely going to say what's up here. This is going to be a muy bueno World Cup. No es malo. Pero we'll get there. Pero we'll get there. But this was a quality team. This was a real quality team, And for me, even I thought to myself, oh my gosh, Spain are going to be very, very dangerous at this World Cup. They're going to be very dangerous based on just how many quality players they had in their team. I'm trying to think. Because I thought Mendieta was here, so Mendieta probably wasn't here. He should be, or maybe he wasn't in the squad. So, how good were your eyes? Hey, there we go. That's your boy there. Your boy right there, Ike Casillas. And this was a teenage Ike Casillas. I believe he was still a teenager. I don't think he even passed his driving test yet. So I don't think he could drive yet. I think Casillas was 17. He must have been 17 or 18 because I remember when he broke into the Real Madrid team, and it was a big deal, him breaking into the Real Madrid team. So I think around about this point, he must have been 17 or 18. So it was crazy it just shows you what a talent he was that as a teenager. Not only he not only broke into the Real Madrid team as a teenager, he broke into the Real Madrid team as no, sorry, he broke into the Spanish national team as a teenager to be the number one keeper as a teenager at a freaking World Cup. So, and I don't think Buffon was that young and broke into the main teams. I don't think Khan was that young. So it was crazy that people thought, no, this kid is something special, you know, and there was something special hoping for him later on. Hey, there we go, Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique, he was also a member of this Spanish team. And look, Enrique was I. But you know how I always say to guys that great players just always make great managers, but a lot of your great managers were okay players. He wasn't the greatest player. He was good, but he was decent. Like Luis Enrique was for me. How do I describe Luis Enrique? He'd be like maybe a less stylish Isco, a less stylish Isco, something like that. Just he was one of those guys where he wasn't one of the standout guys, but if he's in there, technically good, can keep the ball, good on the ball, he can do a good technical footballing job for you. But again, I just think like Luis Enrique will be remembered more for his management rather than what he did as a player. But yeah, your boy Enrique was up at that piece, man. So yeah, there was a lot, not really a lot riding, but there were huge hopes for the Spanish team in O2 for them to now say what's up. South Korea. You have to go and look. There is a moment where Spain scored a goal where this is the line and this is where the ball is. The guy crosses the ball with the ball here, and the linesman says it didn't go over. It wasn't even close. This is why some people said, there was some very dodgy things happening in this. So before this game even went to penalties, there were several calls, but that one call was insane. That one call, like, it wasn't a case of, this was pre-VAR. No. A guy with horrible eyesight could still see, no, that ball is in. The guy headed the ball. Spain should be ahead. So I had people to start to know where the referees favoring South Korea. Remember, as much as the whole nation was riding with South Korea, they had no business beating a Spanish team this good. Remember, this was in the quarters. So South Korea had done Italy in the second round. Spain beat Ireland on penalties in the second round. And now they were like, okay, look, we can say what's up. But they lost on penalties. I remember watching the penalties and I was like, wow, South Korea. But I think Spain felt that we got screwed because we shouldn't have even been to penalties. People say, cool, you have to do what you have to do. Like bad calls happen, deal with it. But no, these were particularly bad calls. There are bad calls and there is, something up. There's something up happening here. I was like, no, there was something up happening here. So whereas in 98, Spain only had themselves to blame, this hurts even more because they're like, we generally got screwed over here. We got screwed over here, and it's fully unfair. So yet again, Spain fell at the quarters. But this was a game in which they felt, we should have gone even further now. So, 06, they ran into Zidane, yo. They ran into your boys Zidane. And the Zidane, I think this was, again, a bridge too far for this guy. And this was the second round. And I think, because even when I watched it, this was the first time you now saw David Villa up in this piece. I believe Javi was also up in this piece as well. So, I think that this was about the old guard, and I think this game just said, Spain, you're not here yet. Zidane and France are on, and you can't beat experience. So what France just used experience just to sort of sort Spain, and Spain they were too young and not really ready for them to really say what's up in this particular game, and something was brewing. 2008, why 08 was so important was Spain's first ever major honor. Spain, No, sorry, mistake. Spain had already won the Euros before. But why this was significant was it was a long time since Spain had won a major honor, and there seemed to be something special about this group of people. Okay, boom, it's been a long time, so this is maybe something that could be a good boost for 2 years later in 2010. So then winning the Euros, playing with a whole new kind of football, maybe we can now say something. Coached by the racist Luis Aragonés. Let me just put that clear there. But something was brewing him. Something was brewing. So okay, what can happen? What can happen? This was a very significant point for the Spanish national team, because what you saw was a system that's pretty much took over and revolutionized football during this period, and a system that no one had any answers to. And you had a crew and a collective that executed a system that no one had any answers to during this period. Eventually they did, but during this period, people were like, okay, we don't know how to play against this. We can't play against this very aggressive possession style that totally takes over the entirety of a 90 minutes game. Well, for the best part of 90 minutes, So it was tough. It was tough for certain personas. So we were like, okay, this is all well and good, but can this be carried out into the World Cup? But why Spain had even more hope in this edition than in '02 was most of the team will be made out of the guys who said what's up in this UCL. Iniesta, Xavi, Puyol, Busquets, and all these dudes. It didn't get off to a great start, losing to Switzerland 1-0. And I think people were like, oh my God, where is this going to happen again? Like, where so much is hopeful for us, and for some reason or whatsoever, we somehow screw up and screw everything. So it was like, okay. And also, it's very rare for a team to win a World Cup losing their first game. It's a very rare thing to happen. So it's been like, okay, man, we now have 2 must-win games, and can we say what's up? Now, every World Cup needs a hero. Not always, but more likely, you need someone to step up. Even if you are a great team, which is what the Spain team is, that has this huge, amazing system, every team needs a hero. David Villa was key. He was very key. And this was where David Villa came in clutch. Because as much as the system was amazing and so forth, Spain needed a guy to be like, okay, we need you to be definitive here. Winning goal against Portugal, winning goal against Paraguay, and David Villa was instrumental. Of course, it was an amazing team, and everyone did their bit because the system was pivotal for them to winning games. But David Villa was that finishing touch that Spain needed, and he guided Spain to uncharted territory. And uncharted territory being this was the first time that Spain had ever reached the semi-finals of any World Cup. So Spain like, okay, maybe can this special crew mixed in with that Barca side and sprinkled with a bit of Real Madrid, and you just pop in a Capdevilla in there, can this team finally gain victory? Something was brewing. Remember, this was a Germany side who was also very good. But they had also beaten them in '08. So Spain thought, okay, we beat them in '08, so we can say what's up. But this was a different kind of a game. And this was a game where, okay, David Villa ain't going to show up. But if David Villa is not going to show up, is someone else going to show up? And I think Puyol said, fine, cool. I'm going to go Thanos. Let me see what's up. And with Spain beating Germany, the feeling was, okay, well, we are here. We reached our very first semi. We won it. And now we are in our very first final. And Spain knew that, okay, look, it's up against Netherlands, a very good Netherlands side. Nobody would have had any... If Spain had reached their very first final ever, they'd be seen as, oh, no, wow, you are heroes, you did something great. Okay, we'll try again 4 years later. But Spain were like, you know what? 4 years is a long time. And I don't want to have a pat on my back, oh, well done, you did well. No, I want to be given that adulation, given that celebration, given that congratulations, those adulations. So Spain like, no. If we're here, let's finish it. Let's. We don't want to wait another 4 years now, come back and try to again. No, we're here right now. Let's finish it. And finish it, they did. Finish it, they did. Iniesta, one of their best players, man of the match in our final, came in clutch, second half extra time, to deliver Spain their very first World Cup. Ooh, I didn't know that. So to deliver Spain their very first World Cup. Huge dub. A huge Dubinsky for Spain. And your boy Casillas, who was a young man in Otsu, came in and lifted up that trophy as El Capitano 8 years later, man. And Spain had fully realized the potential of what was a true golden generation, man. But since then, it's not been too great. So 2014, pimped against literally pimped against Netherlands, lost against Chile, 2 losses, went out in the groups. 4 years later again, in Russia, made it through the groups, involved in one of the best games against Portugal. But then they lost to Russia on penalties. And the thing about that Russia game was, this is where their system sort of bit them in the ass. All the possession in the world, all the control in the world, but hardly any incision. And then they fell into the lottery of penalties. And it was your boy Iago Aspas and Moreno who missed the crucial penalties that made them go home. So we now have the current generation. Pedri, one of the best. Forget about one of the best young players in the world. He's one of the best midfielders in the world. He had an amazing Euros. He is already one of Barca's key, most important and best players. And Spain will expect a lot from him, specifically with just how good his performances were at the Euros, at the Olympics, and also for Barcelona this season. So Pedri is going to be huge. And will have to play a very crucial role, sort of the role that Xavi and Iniesta play, specifically Xavi, I'd say. He took him. This is, you say, it's risky because of his injury record, but many people believe, well, I believe, if a fully fit Ansu Fati was at those Euros, Spain will win those Euros. Spain were just missing a finisher. If Ansu Fati, see what you want about his injury record and so forth, he is a ridiculously clutch player. He's a player that only needs 3 or 4 minutes to sort of make a difference in a game. Sort of been out of form and so forth, but I think Luis Enrique was like, no, this guy can represent something here. And I think that Luis Enrique will feel that we were missing a David Villa. We were missing a David Villa. And maybe this guy can come in and be our David Villa. We know we'll control games. We'll know that we'll have domination of games, but we need that finishing touch to say what's up. And speaking of himself, he's got a Twitch channel. So if you want to follow Spain during the World Cup, head over to Luis Enrique's Twitch channel. So I think because he doesn't want the media to say anything, so he wants to control the media stuff, which I think is amazing and the great thing about tech during these days. But he'll be on Twitch. Luis Enrique is, and I think many people said, even my man Paul says, Spain's best player is Luis Enrique. Spain's most important player is Luis Enrique because he is the most important piece into this whole thing. And his tactics, his adjustments, his coaching, and so forth, I think is going to be the difference between Spain perhaps winning this World Cup or not. Because Spain have a very good chance of winning this World Cup. Precisely because there is nobody that's unbeatable. And because of their play style and how I believe they can control games, if he gets the pressing right, they're able to not be too susceptible to counterattack, specifically from the South American. For me, I think Spain will do well against European sides. It's how they do against the South American sides who don't need to keep the ball and play a more direct game. How do they deal with that? But if you can get Morata, Fati, and all these guys to actually put the ball inside the fishnet, Spain have a great chance of being victorious en el mundo.